I'd first like to say a special thanks to our panelists who are here this evening. We'll do introductions in a minute, but I would really like to thank them for their time, for being here this evening, and for their support. I also want to say a special thank you to our event co-sponsors from LGBTQ Leadership Council and Equality Illinois for helping us get the word out so we could have such a great turnout for this evening's event. So thank you. Thanks to our committee members who are the folks who helped check you in and prepare all the logistics for this evening. And a special thanks also to Christina Bang and Matt Stipe, who are on creative staff here at Leo Burnett and helped us develop our beautiful promotional materials. They did a fantastic job. So thank you to everybody. My name is Karl Wenzel, and I am one of the board members of EgaliteChicago. My co-chair of the event, Alden, will explain a little bit more about Egalite to you when he gets up. I'm also a co-chair of tonight's event, and I'm Senior Vice President in Account Management here at Leo Burnett. So thank you all for coming this evening. I wanted to start off just by framing the discussion with a bit of a personal perspective. So I want to take you back to 1996. That is the year I took an advertising agency job for the first time. And at that point, there were no, and these guys can fact check me. I got a lot of this off the interwebs, so, we'll see. At that point, there were no state laws protecting sexual orientation and or gender identity as part of employment non-discrimination policies, nor were they part of any policies at many of the public and private companies that have them today. Don't ask, don't tell was in effect in the military. DOMA had just become the law of the land that year. Same-sex relationships were not legally recognized by any state, not even through civil unions or domestic partnerships. Many states still had laws on the book that included criminal penalties for consensual sex. Many were not enforced, but still codified in the law, which provided justification for discrimination. We had a federal law barring entry in the United States based on HIV status. Protease inhibitors and combination therapies for HIV were just approved by the FDA in the previous year and had just become widely available for the first time. And on a lighter note, in the entertainment realm, Ellen DeGeneres had a popular sitcom on TV, but it wasn't until the next year that she became the first out lesbian actress to play an out lesbian character on a TV show. And from my personal perspective, being all of 24 years old, I was very unsure if it was okay for me to be out at work, at an advertising agency, of all places. The activism and advocacy of many in the LGBT community, including a lot of leaders here in this room tonight, helped make tremendous progress on all of those fronts in just the last 18 years. Admittedly, the groundwork had been laid long before, but the momentum during that period was amazing. From striking down discriminatory laws, to pressing the government and pharmaceutical companies for access to HIV treatments and privacy protections for HIV-positive individuals, to increasing visibility and positive portrayals of LGBT people in the media, to supporting the candidacy of LGBT politicians and allies, to protecting employment rights at the employer, municipal, county, and state levels. And as many of you know, today, the CEO of one of the most prominent companies in the world came out publicly and announced he's gay. But the work is not done. And there's still a need for all of us to contribute. And that's why we're here tonight. That's what we want to discuss this evening and was the genesis of this event. So, I'd like to say a special thank you as well to my co-chair this evening and fellow Egalite board member, Alden Golab, who will kick us off by introducing our distinguished panelists and our moderator. Thanks.
All right, there we go. Thank you all for coming and welcome. So good to have you all here. My name is Alden Golab. As Karl said, I am one of the board members for. Can you hear me? Sorry. A little closer. Maybe. All right. I'm one of the board members for Egalite, and I lead the recruiting and retention committee. I'm also an advertising researcher at Starcom here at 35 West Rockland. So, a little about Egalite. Egalite is the LGBT network for Publicis Groupe, and Publicis Groupe is the third largest communications network in the world. So we have a ton of agencies here in Chicago, which is why we exist. And so I think really what the purpose of Egalite is to unite a lot of the LGBT professionals within those agencies, but then also to unite the community within the broader Chicago area, and really try to build connections between LGBT professionals here in Chicago. So that really is the genesis for Folklore Process. Many of you were here last year. This is an annual event. This is our second year. Welcome to all the new people. It's so great to have you. But really, the purpose of this event is to serve as both a connection point for those of us within the industry, those of us who are professionals in Chicago, and then not only to each other, but also to the advocacy network here in Chicago. So really highlight different members of the community who are doing good work here in the city. So this year, we're excited to have a nice informal discussion about what's next after marriage equality. So that's really a big theme of this year, and after all the string of victories that we've seen. But what's next? What do we do now that marriage equality is coming into effect? And sort of touching on areas where work is currently going on, where work needs to be done, and really having a genuine conversation about what to do. So before we begin, a few housekeeping items for y'all. Bathrooms. If you go to the right, it's the men's bathroom. To the left is the women's bathroom. If you need to get up and grab a drink at the bar, we'll keep the bar open for most of the events as long as it's not too loud in the bar. But feel free to get up, grab a drink, grab some more food. We do want to keep the evening kind of informal and let you do your thing. So without further ado, I'll introduce our panelists. J.P. Anderson, our moderator. So, yeah, feel free to clap. J.P. Anderson is the editor-in-chief of Michigan Avenue Magazine, a luxury lifestyle publication that covers Chicago culture, fashion, dining, and philanthropy. In his 15 years as a Chicago journalist, he has interviewed notable personalities ranging from Mayor Rahm Emanuel and Governor Pat Quinn to Joan Rivers, Jane Lynch, Melissa McCarthy, and Mandy Patinkin. Anderson is a native of Ottawa, Illinois, and a magna cum laude graduate of Harvard University. Next is Tracy Baim, who's on the other end.
All right.
Tracy Baim is a publisher and executive editor at Windy City Media Group, which produces Windy City Times, Night Spots, and other gay media in Chicago. She co-founded Windy City Times in 1985. Last year, she received the 2013 Chicago Headline Club Lifetime Achievement Award for her 30 years in journalism. She has won numerous gay community and journalism honors, including the Community Media Workshop Studs Turkle Award in 2005, and several Peter Lizator Journalism Awards. She has authored and edited several books, including Gay Press, Gay Power, The Growth of the LGBT Community Newspapers in America, a finalist for the Lambda Literary Award, and a top 10 selection for the American Library Association. Out and Proud in Chicago, an overview of Chicago's gay community, which is the first comprehensive book on Chicago's gay history. This year, she was inducted into National Lesbian Gay Journalists Association Hall of Fame, and she also co-created a game called That's So Gay, which you can see on display. Jim Bennett is next, who's sitting to her right. Jim Bennett is the Midwest Regional Director for Lambda Legal and is responsible for expanding Lambda Legal's organizational reach in 10 states with a focus on public policy, financial development, educational, and media efforts. He recently served as chair of Illinois Unites for Marriage, the statewide coalition working to win the freedom to marry in Illinois. He was also a leading strategist in Lambda Legal's Iowa marriage campaign. Prior to his work with Lambda Legal, Jim served in leadership roles at Sargent Shriver National Center on Poverty Law, American Red Cross Central Illinois Chapter, and the American Red Cross National Promoters. He currently sits on the board of Refugee One as a member of Broadway United Methodist Church. He holds an MBA from the University of Illinois and a BS from Illinois State University. He also graduated from Second City Conservatory and writes and performs sketch comedy.
What outfit.
Yeah, not everyone got to review their bios beforehand, so. Goes. To his right is Bernard Cherkasov. Bernard is the Chief Executive Officer of Equality Illinois, the state's oldest and largest organization advocating for full equality of LGBT people. Under Bernard's leadership, Equality Illinois has developed and implemented new strategies to engage public officials and political leaders, partner with major corporations and law firms, strengthen relations with religious leadership in communities of faith, and to engage the community at large. Bernard's experience as an attorney includes arguing before the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit and negotiating with governmental authorities and elected officials on behalf of various clients. Prior to that, Bernard served at the Supreme Court of Israel as the international law clerk for Chief Justice, I might mispronounce this, Aharon Barak. Awesome. Whose public policy and advocacy background includes work with the Jewish community organizations in Washington, D.C., the Anti-Defamation League, and the ACLU. Currently, he serves on the board of directors of AIDS Legal Counsel of Chicago. Bernard has been honored with the Belfield Base Award for Public Service, the Spitzer Fellowship in Public Policy, and the Public Interest Service Fellowship. He earned his Juris Doctorate from the University of Michigan and his master's degree with a focus on the relationship of public policy, theology, and law from Harvard. And finally, to his right is the Reverend Stan Sloan. Stan is the Chief Executive Officer of Chicago House. Since he joined the agency in 2000, the agency and services it offers have more than quadrupled. He has served as a leader in HIV/AIDS, developing the citywide Center for Disease Control Prevention Program, and also pioneering the Midwest's first HIV/AIDS employment initiative. Most recently, Stan led the agency as it opened the nation's first comprehensive services for those in need of the transgender community, offering housing, employment services, medical services, legal services, and emergency drop-in services, all under one roof in Chicago's Edgewater. Stan, an Episcopal priest with the Diocese of Chicago, has been a leader in the homeless, LGBTQ, and AIDS service communities for nearly 20 years. He was the founding president of the Alliance to End Homelessness. He served as a co-chair of the board of the Chicago Housing for Health Partnership. Former board member of the Illinois ACLU, Stan also serves on the Museum of Contemporary Arts Audience Development and Diversity Committee, and served the Chicago Community Trust's Advisory Board for People with Disabilities. He has also received numerous awards, including the Human Relations Award by the Chicago Commission on Human Relations, the Illinois Department of Public Health Red Ribbon Award, the AIDS Legal Counsel of Chicago Advocate of the Year Award, the Community Service Award for Cook County State Attorney's Office, and in 2010 was inducted into the Chicago Gay and Lesbian Hall of Fame. And that is our panel. Thank you all so much for coming in, and thank you all for sitting through me reading a bunch of bios. Try to keep it short, but JP, take it away.